Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Kiana here, and today we're going to be talking about the death of my ego. So it's going to be a little bit of a story time, but also sharing what I've learned along the way. And before we get started, I just really want to express my gratitude to everyone who checked out my last video and who downloaded the resources and provided me with some great feedback. So I'm really glad that helped you guys, and I'm continuing to just share my experience with you all so we can continue to grow together. Now, I wanted to touch on the ego because our ego is basically linked to our lower selves and our insecurities. If you haven't watched my first video, you should check that out about identifying insecurities and then come back to this. It'll probably help you and it'll make a little more sense. So one day I was going through an emotional purge and it just felt so painful. Like I felt like I was really trying to overcome, but I was still being met with some resistance. So in that moment, I Googled, why is ego death so painful? So I came across some great articles that'll help me help you guys with your journey. So what is pain? Pain is a physical communicator tool. It is a tool that signals from our nervous system to our brain that let us know that something is wrong. Now, pain can be our ally when it is used correctly. Pain is our teacher. Pain signifies that something needs to be released. So the ego basically warps how we see life and how we see each other. This may lead to scarcity issues, insecurities, self-worth issues, and more. Now, fear is a kind of pain. Fear is basically false evidence appearing real. Fear motivates us to either do something or do nothing. It is a coping mechanism or a protective mechanism. So we may overthink or we may be in uncomfortable situations, and this causes fear to take over. Now, when we feel overwhelmed by fear, it allows us to seek a relief, and this leads to addiction. But the main thing we can do to overcome fear is really breathing. Breathing in and out tells our brain that it is safe and it can relax. Now, as we evolve in our spiritual journeys and our spiritual awakenings, we realize that we no longer need pain to teach us. It just helps us get started. Sometimes we need to get over inertia. And inertia is basically a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. So now we know what pain is, and we also know what our ego is. Our ego is basically a collection of beliefs that comes from our unconscious, subconscious mind. And it can come from impressions, experiences, relationships. And all of these form a sense of identity, a false identity. Our ego is basically our survival mechanism. Our unconscious ego has no idea where these thoughts are coming from, why we live the way we live, where these thoughts and self-limiting beliefs come from. But our conscious ego can be useful, and it leads us to our spiritual awakening. Now, our ego death and our spiritual awakening is a gradual process. It is literally us shedding our old selves. We are letting go of our desires and our old beliefs. So handling the pain of ego death is literally knowing how much pain we inflict on ourselves voluntarily. So as you go on this journey, and once you feel that fear rising up, practice neutralizing your response right then and there. Because fear will literally inhabit the way we think and our ability to think. So here are some signs and some symptoms that will help you notice that you may be purging and going through a spiritual awakening yourself. You may become more observant to people and things around you. You become a little more compassionate. You start to see more signs and synchronicities from the universe talking to you. You'll see through inauthenticity. It'll be easier for you to let go. You also may notice your relationships changing, and that is okay because everyone has their own path to walk, and everyone will not understand that. And it will become easier for you to let go. Now, how I noticed that I was really going through an ego death is that I had a reduced addiction to smoking. I love weed. I literally have on a marijuana girl shirt right now, but I'm not as addicted to it anymore. My diet has changed. I'm basically vegetarian. I don't eat meat. I'm trying to cut out dairy, but we'll get there. Being alone, I've always been a loner at heart, but now I've just been embracing it even more. That's just who I am. It's me protecting my energy. My relationships changed, and synchronicities. I definitely started getting some ringing in my ears, seeing angel numbers more and more, and just seeing like spiders and things like that. But that's just like your ancestors talking to you or trying to get your attention. I also want to share some wellness tips that has helped me throughout this time. Yoga and meditation, that's my go-to. Before I go to bed, when I wake up, it's a daily thing. I cannot go a day without meditating or doing yoga. Also, deep cleaning my apartment and just moving things around just really changes the energy and allows more flow and abundance to flow through. Also, I take spiritual baths to just cleanse and release any negative energy that may have been sent to me or just absorbed over time. And also just having healthy outlets like reading. I love to read, and spending less time on social media. This is a very important time to just tune in with yourself, be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, and really tune in and be one with the universe, because it is calling you and you have to answer. You just have to. So thank you all for tuning in and watching this video. I really hope this helps you. If this resonates with you, please let me know how you are doing on your journey. I'll also be having some resources available to help you all. And thank you again. I will see you all next time. Be well.